Hi everyone, it's Clyde at Vibrant Soap, and I'm in a very special place to introduce the making of my sandalwood soap. So it's such a surprise, so I want you to see this. It's the most beautiful thing I've ever seen in my life. So now I'm back from India, and now I'm way behind on soap making, but I had a great time and I came back with a lot of great inspiration. So I'm going to do a series of soaps that were inspired by India, and this first one is so fitting because the Taj Mahal is just so impressive. I've made a separate video just to show the design concept and then also the color tutorial, so we can just get on with the soap making. And I'm excited because this is the first time I've used a fondant mat in the way that I use it in this particular soap. So let's get on with the soap making right now. Okay, I'm ready to start blending. The first soap I've made in a while, because as you know I've traveled to India and I had to just catch up with life over here and edit my photos and things like that, but I guess I needed a little break. So I'm just going to blend my kaolin clay, oils, and goat milk, and everything's about 75 degrees. That looks very creamy already. And then I'm going to add my lye solution. I'm going to blend this to emulsification and get my sandalwood rose fragrance in there, and then I'll work with the colors. Let's get the fragrance in there. I'm going to have a white base too, so I'm going to get my titanium dioxide in there after I pour for the colors. So two different kinds of pink. Just do little drop swirls. And then it's a little blue accent. And now I'm going to add my titanium dioxide. This is diluted in water, and I make it pretty strong so I don't have to get as much water in the soap base. I try to keep the glisten rivers from forming. Oh, it smells so good. Let's put this aside. Let's get the lightest color blended first, and I'll go to the blue last. Okay, so my mold is already lined with the fondant mats. I'm patterning this after seeing the Taj Mahal. And the Taj Mahal has a lot of inlaid stone and carvings on the sides of it, so it looks really beautiful, and I wanted to capture some of that feel in this soap called Taj Mahal. Just get all of this white in there. Don't want my fondant mats to fall into the soap, so I'm just going to hold it for a while. Soap is staying nice and fluid. And let's see, I think I want to pour this dark pink in first. followed by a little bit of this blue. Get some of this lighter pink in there. Let's get the rest of the blue in there. And for the top, I want to have little rounded areas. I'm doing an abstract version of a lot of the hotels had roses floating in bowls, and I thought that was such a nice way to be greeted as guests. So I'm going to put simulated roses on top. I'm going to try to get this darker pink on top of that. I'm actually pouring it right next to it because I don't want it to hide the light pink. And I'm going to swirl each of these areas anyway. Get some there. And then I'm going to add some gold around there. I think this is really going to set it off. These will be drizzles, mainly in the areas around these little pink areas, but it's okay if it goes on them too, because I'm going to swirl that into the pink. And finally, I have a little bit of red mica drizzle. Don't want too much of this, so I intentionally just made a little bit, maybe a drop on each of these areas, and that's it. That's it. I'm going to use the end of my paintbrush and make each one of these a little swirl to simulate a rose. See how that gold streaks that a little bit, gives it a little definition, a little highlight, and just enough blue to peek out to highlight. Just like the stonework on the sides of the Taj Mahal. Okay, and I did a pretty good job in not messing up the sides, so I'm not going to scrape them. I think for just a little bit more definition, I'm going to add a little sprinkling of red jojoba beads. Spray that with some, actually I'll get some glitter on there first. And finally, a little spray of alcohol. Try to prevent some soda ash. And that's it. Fairly simple soap to do. And I'm just hoping that the drop swirls look pretty cool in there too, which I think it will. Because the sides are all white because of the base of white in there. I think the impression of the fondant mats on the side is going to be pronounced, and depending on how pronounced that pattern is, I'm going to, I might paint a little bit of gold mica on the edge to accentuate it a bit. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is pull these fondant mats away from the soap. I realize the top looks kind of messy, but I think after it's cut, it's going to look like what I envisioned. So I really like what that mat did on this side. I might just leave it like that. It has a lot of definition, but I might paint a little bit of gold mica on that to bring that out a bit more. Great, that works really well. Okay, and I made the base white because I want to simulate the white marble. Of course, any mica that I add to the soap now that it's been cured is going to wash it off probably with the first use of the soap. So I'm just going to dust some gold mica on there. I'm going to do this in patches. So I decided not to use oil to suspend the mica powder, that I would just use the powder, not even any water, because the effect that I want is to just get it like a dusting of gold here and there. And I think that's going to work. I didn't want to risk little drips and globs settling into the crevices. So I think this is going to work out great. So I'm just using a soft sable artist brush that I dedicated just to soap making things. I think that is better than just the plain white. It's better that I dust this on the sides now before I cut the soap, because obviously it's going to be a lot more work to paint individual bars. It's just like how I bevel the corners first before I do the bars, because it's just one swoop of the vegetable peeler rather than having to do that 11 times if there's 11 bars involved. I would be tempted to spray this side with alcohol to, meld the mica powder into the soap a little bit more, but I think that's just gonna rinse parts of it away and it's gonna drip and it's not gonna look very nice. So I think dusting is the way to go. Okay, so let me take out my single wire cutter. So I want to cut these a little larger than my multi-cutter. I'll just cut off an edge first. And there's that. Kind of soft look to it with the side looking like that, and I'll bevel the corners there. But these are the colors that I was counting on. There's two different colors of pink and that little blue. And it smells mainly like sandalwood, but there's a little touch of rose in there. So it really has a nice scent to it. See, those are thicker
bars. I'm getting some drag marks in there because of the jojoba beads, so I'm going to turn these so they don't have that drag. Still have a few drag marks, but it's minimal. Try one more thing. Try this one instead. Yeah, that's better. So I was saying I should have taken a little more care with the top, but I know that when you cut the soap into individual bars, that sometimes it doesn't matter as much. Just get some spirals there. I really think that this sandalwood plus the rose really matches the feeling that I got when I was at the Taj Mahal, but it also, I think the design and the scent work well together too. 6, 8. Probably get 10 bars out of this. I like what that blue does to the design. You can see this really hairline swirl right in there. I really like that. Drop swirls are still one of my favorite swirls to do. It's an easy swirl. You never know what you're going to get. Well, I like that element of surprise, but it's generally really beautiful. Here's my last one. Really now the view with that little touch of deep red on the top is really, I think, striking. So let me clean these up and take my photos, and I'll share that with you too. But thanks for watching. I'm glad to be back soaping again. It's been quite a while after recovering from the trip. Not that I needed much recovering, but you know, life goes on when you're out of the country and you come back and then you have to deal with all that. So that's where I was, just taking care of business, let's say. And thanks for watching. We'll see you again, hopefully real soon. Bye, everybody.